on the YouTube app on my phone. Hello, everybody. Welcome, good morning, and welcome to my live reaction to One Piece manga chapter 1120. This one is titled Atlas. It has been a wild past week with Anime Expo and Shanks vs. Kid last night. You could hear my voice is a little shot. Yesterday I was at Pokemon Go Fest having a lot of fun, but of course, I had to wake up early this morning and do my live reaction to the new One Piece chapter. Now, unfortunately, I'm not able to co-stream this via my Twitch and my live channel today. This is the only live stream that's going to exist for this live reaction because I got locked out of my Twitch yesterday due to a copyright issue for the episode that we watched on stream yesterday. But it's not a problem. It's a 24-hour thing. It'll be back very temporarily. It'll be back tomorrow. Not a huge deal. And to be quite frank, that episode was totally worth it. That Shanks versus Kid episode, I figured that was probably going to end up being the case because we showed more of the video than we normally would. I don't even care. I'm just happy I got the video up. I found the loophole. I was able to do it. And now we're doing a live reaction. It's going to be a good time. So without any further ado, One Piece 1120. This one is titled Atlas, and it says Ogre Child Yamato's Golden Harvest Surrogate Pilgrimage, Volume 10, Denjiro, Daimo of Kibi, sentences the children. These are the kids that were making fun of Yamato last chapter. The daimyo. I feel like that is new information. Last time we saw Denjiro, I do not believe he was the daimyo of Kibi. So this is new and cool. I like that this is like his way of world building Wano. Very nice. Cool to see Yamato chilling there and the kids who were being mean thrown in a bag and thrown off a cliff. Lovely. Okay, here we go. Let us continue. 26 years ago, Punk Hazard. Okay. Please, Vegapunk. You simply must study the Void Century with us. There's a darkness there too deep for the world to leave unaddressed. The more we study it, the more we require expertise in other fields. As you can see, I'm a government scientist now. I cannot give you my data. Okay, that's Clover? Okay. How many times have you been arrested by now? Wait, 26 years ago. So this is before, obviously, all the Ohara stuff. I'm assuming this is like... Well, let's continue. Hold on. How many times have you been arrested by now? They know exactly where to find you. Surely you know why they continue to allow you to live. It's because they're biding their time until they can round up and wipe out all of your friends. Pull back now. So what of the darkness? One cannot measure the good and evil of the past. Opening this up with a conversation with Clover is not what I was expecting. I once saw a man with the name of D killed right before my eyes without warning. A man I was born and raised with. My older brother. Okay. All right. Big reveal right in the beginning of the chapter. My true name is Clow D. Clover. He's a friend. I only survived because I lied. He lied about his being his brother? How is it right that a person can die simply for declaring the name that they were given at birth? There's a secret history whose traces are continually erased. I will not help you with this, and I'll forget what you just said to me right now. The most I can do is tell you to be careful. Yeah, I mean, Vegapunk works for the government, so him telling him this is not good. He's like, I'm going to forget everything you just said. I don't know you're a D. We're buddies. Please don't say anything else to me. Also, I just noticed throughout the course of this conversation, there's a lot of stuff in this opening scene. Is this Punk Hazard like, Akainu and Aokiji's fight? Is that what we're seeing here? Obviously, it's the gates of Punk Hazard. I'm assuming it's the same island. It says 26 years ago. There's like palm trees and beautiful buildings. This is cool, man. This is a good way to open the chapter. Clover being a D and seeing Punk Hazard 26 years ago? Nice. I will solve this mystery someday, and the voices of the past will be heard. Good stuff. Okay. Yeah, wow. I was sort of taking it in. I saw Punk Hazard at the beginning, but I wasn't actually processing just how different it looks with all the palm trees and the buildings. And that Clover had the older brother and that they had the name D. Okay. Good stuff. Also, yeah, you can see the little Oni character looking over the top of Punk Hazard right there. Meanwhile, 22 years ago. Okay, here we go. This is around the time of the Buster Call. Did you hear about Ohara in the West Blue? They're going to a place called they're going to place a Buster Call on it, and you can still see Punk Hazard with the palm trees. Oh, how I wish I could see the slaughter unfold. So this is Caesar, 22 years ago, still a slime ball. Clover the archaeologist. So they finally caught him by the toe. Now no one will dare study the Void Century again. It's the perfect example to scare them all off. Dirty, rotten scoundrel over there. You're gonna get what's coming to you, Caesar Clown. Please, Vegapunk. They say only a single child escaped alive. Ooh, I'm getting chills as he's looking at the bounty poster for Robin. Oh, man. Surely you had time to escape, Clover, and now it cuts to where we were in the earlier Egghead flashback with Vegapunk and Dragon over the remnants of Ohara. Bro, man. Did all of you die just to preserve this vast store of texts for the future? It's preposterous. What lunatic would dare risk certain death to continue your research? Oh, Robin, oh, I see on the bottom of the page. Oh, man. Someone once said that the voices of the past will be heard and that history is told by the winners. Oh, and Zeph and Patty? And the voices of the losers at the bottom of the sea are so very faint. But the truth that was gleaned was at the cost of so much sacrifice. And Robin, sitting there listening to the Den Den Mushi, covering her eyes, trying not to cry, hearing this truth about Clover. Oh, man. And, okay, we're back in the action now. I changed the page. Here we go. What are you doing? So continuing on what it said, at the cost of so much sacrifice has been told to the world just now. I'm going to read. This is like the one thing. I love Vegapunk's speech, don't get me wrong. But I do hate the way it's broken up because then I want to read what he's saying, but it's intercut with other stuff. So I'm going to read the whole thing he says coming off of the flashback. He says, someone once said that the voices of the past will be heard and that history is told by the winners and the voices of the losers at the bottom of the sea are so very faint. But the truth that was gleaned at the cost of so much sacrifice has at last been told to the world just now, is what he's saying. Right, okay, there we go. We are moving on. What are you doing? Shoot us off. So there we go. We have the other ship. You're not going just yet. We have Lilith. That horse Gramps is going to attack us again. Venus Churro. That's exactly why we can't leave. Now, I understand that your ship can accelerate to fly at a distance of 1 kilometer. But if he manages to reduce the run-up speed at all, and you can see Venus Churro, still the MVP of the Gorosei, running his way by himself with the sword, your horizontal projection distance drops. There's a northward wind. That'll reduce your lift, and according to my calculations, the ship will crash on the hard ground without reaching the water. As long as you don't get rid of that old geezer. Run, here we go. Here we go. I said this. If this doesn't, I'm going to tell you right now, if this does not end with Atlas's death, I would be shocked. I said this 3 weeks in a row that the death flags are waving for Atlas. And ever since that line from York about there only needing to be one genius, that Lilith would be the only good one left, and that York obviously will be the second to last gone, and Lilith will be the one to carry on the dreams because Lilith was introduced as Vegapunk in the beginning. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. She's just punching, but I feel like this is it. This sounds like sacrifice. This sounds like what happened with Edison. Her talking about this. So she's slamming into the ground. Lilith, Atlas. Here we go. And she's stopping Lilith so she can go, yeah, this is exactly where this is going. Why did you do that to Lilith? And she's huffing and puffing, and you could see Lilith lying on the ground, the little click. Oh, bro. Yeah, I turn the page. You get the iconic anime look. Take care of Lilith for me. Oh, man. Fly and I'll remove the obstacle. Atlas. I did like Atlas, though, more over time. I am sad. But again, Atlas was the second one we got introduced to. We had Lilith. The last two remaining were the two that we started this whole journey with. What do you mean by this? Lilith's access just shorted out. It's only Atlas left. No. Atlas knocked her out so that York would think she was down, and then Atlas will blow up, and then Lilith will be able to escape. This is it. This is where it's going. Bro, take Lilith inside, Zoro. Okay. Wait, Atlas. Explain, dude. And this is it. Venus, Juro, and Atlas. Let's get going. Helmsman Jinbei. Are you sure, Jinbei? We'll regret it if we're too slow to act. Hit it, Brooke. As you wished. Good. Oh, wait, what? Kude. So you see the beginning of the Kude burst. Atlas. Is that Atlas's arm? Atlas flying toward Venus Juro. Before she can even do anything, her arm is chopped clean off. That shot right there of slamming into Venus Juro. I gotta say though, again, Venus Juro holding it down for the Gorosei, man. The beginning of the Kude burst, this is it. So I really feel like we are moving out of Egghead very, very soon then. I know we were having that discussion a couple chapters ago about maybe there's like 10 or so chapters left. I feel like if the ship is getting out of there now, if we are Kude bursting, and the Elbaf ship is already ready to go, and Venus Juro is getting taken down now, we might actually be out of here. Atlas running into Venus Juro, arm chopped off. Venus Juro going in again. What is this? Ooh, I love the way Oda's timing the flying of Atlas with the burst sound of the ship. I can only pray that this message has made it safely out to the world at large. Huh? What's happening, Vice Admiral Hound? And you can see the robot still there. That huge boar, the snake, the bird, the robot. I don't get it. I didn't hear about any of this. Dude, you're just as shocked as we are. I didn't think when this whole arc started, I didn't think we were going to have all the Gorosei either. And yet here we are. Dude, that Kude burst slam into him like that. Man. And taking him out of the way. I also just have to say, I know I'm going all over the place, just like Vegapunk's message, but I love the way not only that Oda paired Atlas flying out of there, but also pushing Venus Juro out of the way. The look of that shot with the burst coming off the back of the Thousand Sunny, 10 out of 10, bro. 10 out of 10. I can only pray that this message has made it safely out to the world at large. The huge boar, the snake, the bird, the robot. I don't get it. I didn't hear about any of this. And Luffy's still fanboying over Emeth, saying, giant robot. Is that an iron giant? All the other giants are happy as can be. Joy boy, I'm so happy to see you again. That's Emeth, obviously. He's like, I'm talking to you. Looking over to Luffy. Luffy's like, hmm? It would be foolish to hear about a war 900 years in the past from only one side. And you could see, oh man, you go ahead. Your enemy is my enemy. I feel like I should give him a robot voice so you guys know who's talking. I'm so happy, Rob64. I get to fight for you again, Joy Boy. This is amazing. You can talk. Joy Boy is in danger. I must protect him. It seems we cannot end Vegapunk's speech unless we shatter this thing to pieces, and it ain't gonna let ya. Roboto. Here we go. Get the ship moving. Is that thing on our side, Straw Hat? Well, it says it wants to protect someone named Joy Boy. Who is that? Bro. Context clues, Luffy, come on. It's saying something. I don't hear it. I love the way he's drawing Luffy's face in this chapter too. Just like happy as can be. All teeth smiling. I don't hear it. Wait, what do you mean you don't hear it? So obviously he's just talking through the voice of all things to Luffy, so the giants can't hear it. Don't just let them sail away. Fire. Okay. And they're all shooting again. History requires a multifaceted approach to understand entirely. We still have Vegapunk talking over all this. If only I had more time on my side. Bro! Wow, man. Also, this feels like a beefy chapter. I've been going and going and going and going, man. This has been 20 minutes long already. We still got stuff to go. This is a beefy one, man. I love this. So we have the sandworm now fighting Emeth. Alas, there are forces outside of my ability to stop. It's winding up. It's going to shoot something. Robo. Here we go. And you can see, and the poof's going around him as the sandworm is crashing down. What is it? And you got the rest of them screaming, what? Look out, robot. And he's holding down the sandworm. Crackling. Dude. No, Robo. That is a 900-year-old weapon. Of course this isn't going to work anymore. Crush it between your jaws, Peter, and stop that transmission. Saturn freaking out. Dude. Oh, man. Wow. The framing this chapter is also excellent. I feel like I'll talk about this more in my review a little bit later, but this is a very good chapter for a multitude of reasons. Let me get through the chapter first. Let me finish reading it, and then I'll give my overall thoughts, as I always do. But this is very, very well done this week. Crush it between your jaws, Peter, and stop that transmission. Dude, great shot right there as well as he's hopping out of the way. Meanwhile, you're not going anywhere. Saturn jumping out of the ship with the giants. Kuma. Bonnie, of course, that's who he's zeroing in on. Sanji! It's the Sunny. And is that? And there we go. It's coming down. The ships are meeting. Hang on tight. We're going down. I also feel like, again, this is setting things up really nicely with Kuma being on the ship. I've been saying that final sacrifice is going to be happening from Kuma. They're both right there. I could see him doing one final paw, slapping the two ships away and stopping Saturn, dragging him down to the sea with him. It's the Sunny. And is that? Hang on tight. Wait a second. Are we even going to make it? You would sacrifice yourself. No. Extra service on the house. Atlas bombing herself, pulling a Pedro, blowing up Venus Juro. Okay, man. The ship keeps falling. Oh, man. I turn to the next page as well. We still got more. Venus Juro with half his head blown off. 25 years. Wait. 25 years ago, the pirate Goldie Roger completed, and he's saying Goldie Roger too, so that people are going to know, completed an unprecedented tour of the world. And what he and his crew heard, I'm going to jump to where it's at the Vegapunk stuff, so I read this in full, were likely the purest voices of the past. In conclusion, as I'm sure you've all surmised by now, my view of our future is thus. And you can see like the Impel Down people going, what do you mean? What do you mean Gold D? What do you mean Gold D and not Gold Roger? Again, we know Gold D Roger, but the world at large didn't know about the initial D. This is going to set things off. Now, with that being said, I want to see the rest of all of this because this is hype. This shot of Emeth right there after Atlas's explosion, that's it. We're going to make it. So Atlas blew up Venus Juro. What was that? It can't end like this, Atlas, please. And you could see Chopper crying and Usopp crying. York laughing about Atlas's death. Atlas is gone. Now the only Dr. Vegapunk left in the world is little old me. And Venus Juro coming out of the attack, half of a head blown off, still creaking, trying to heal, saying, no, not yet. Not while the Stella continues to babble on. Yes, of course. We'll stop it at once. But again, of course, Lilith is fine. Atlas knocked her out earlier. It's fine. That's to trick York and the rest of them. And you have all of the Gorosei now. Oh, man. Oh, man. Mars and Peter. I'm all rusty. Joy Boy. Oh, this is the robot. Uh-oh, I'm all rusty. Joy Boy, you said when the time is right. I think this counts. I'm going to use it. Okay. Okay. So the robot's got one final technique then. Arm half blown off, standing there like a rusty old 900-year-old weapon, facing the two other Gorosei, Saturn on the ship with the giants, the bird, Itsumade, already flying clean out of there, Venus Juro, head half blown off, and now we got the sandworm and the boar. He's going to do something. Dude, next chapter is about to be killer, man. The next chapter is about to be heat. This chapter I thought was incredible. Am I alone or are people in agreement? I feel like this is a really, really, really good one. So obviously Emeth is going to blow up or do something or use another weapon or take out the other two Gorosei. And there's not a break next week. We're getting another one. Chapter was cooking. You are definitely not alone. Going back to something I was going to say like a couple pages ago, I feel like Oda addressed a criticism I had a couple weeks ago, which is that I feel like recently within Egghead, because there's been so much stuff going on and characters are bouncing all over the place and doing a bunch of other stuff, I feel like one of my peak criticisms of the chapters as of late has been that things are kind of too crazy. That things are flying all over the place and you can't really tell what exactly is happening. There's like explosions on one page and people are flying all over the place. But his framing this chapter is like immaculate, where you see exactly where Atlas is in relation to the Thousand Sunny, in relation to Venus Juro. You get that shot where Saturn is jumping out of the ship and then you see Jupiter in his sandworm form facing Emeth. It's very clear in relation to everything else with where the ships are landing and where the attacks are happening of what exactly is going on now in Egghead. I feel like maybe a big portion of that is due to the fact that now obviously everybody's together, right? The ship has Kude bursted. It's gotten closer to what's it called? To the Elbaf ship. We have all the characters together. It's probably easier to be like, okay, I know where this is in relation to all this other stuff. But man, and not only is the framing of the action very good in this chapter, the actual art this chapter is incredible. Some of the shadowing on like the third to last page with Emeth and with the sandworm looks really good. Like the lighting of this, I think, is going to look amazing once we get to the anime version of it. Like even the shadows of the explosion of Atlas as the Sunny is falling down. Also getting that little interjection shot with Saturn as he lands on the Elbaf ship, and he specifically calls out Kuma and Bonnie, which obviously I think is tying to whatever Kuma's final sacrifice is going to end up being. I really still feel like, because didn't they just recently say there's like one more major thing that's going to happen on Egghead and that the incident hasn't happened? My assumption is that the robot is going to do something major. The robot's going to like essentially be a nuke and take everybody out, and that Kuma is going to use his paw power to get the rest of them out of there. And that essentially all the vice admirals, all the other characters that are there that haven't escaped, obviously we know Stussy is on her way to escape with Kaku right now. There's a lot of stuff that's happening. I almost feel like with the other stuff that we saw, with characters evacuating earlier, and with the other admirals being there, that Emeth is maybe going to nuke Egghead. And that Lilith being the sole remaining Vegapunk, if he ends up nuking it and York is in there, Lilith would be the only one that has any of the memories and has punk records in her head and any of that other stuff, and could then share it with Saul and the other people once they get to Elbaf. And they'll have the actual true history. And Vegapunk obviously has already gotten the message out there. We've seen everybody in the world. We even saw Zeph and Patty in this chapter as well. We are seeing everybody. Gaimon last chapter. This is really, really good stuff, man. And then, of course, the flashback earlier and finding out that Clover is actually Cloud D. Clover and that he had an older brother and he had to pretend that he didn't know him. And then Robin hearing all of this. I feel like this is really good. I feel like if he wants to do a good lore drop and pair it with really good action, this is like the way to do it. This was very well paced. Lots of good reveals. Also good reveals, not just for us as the reader, but for the world at large. Like that the world at large is finally going to know about Goldie Roger. I didn't even realize that really until I was reading it. But the world at large, now knowing that Gold Roger, that the Pirate King, had the will of D that was spoken about in the message that went out to the rest of the world, that's going to inspire a bunch of people as well. Not just the pirates, but people who knew about the history and how this is going to change certain things, how other characters might be Ds. This is really good. Really, really good. And again, the action with the Gorosei this chapter is incredible. Kind of a wild last line from Atlas too, where he goes, "Would you sacrifice yourself?" And she goes, "No, it's extra service on the house." Dude, and then boom. Going back to when we first met her with the food and everything and the theming of the holograms. Wow, 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 wow. Again, even some of the way he drew some of the action on these pages. One of the coolest shots in the entire chapter, I actually think, is Saturn with his little scorpion spider legs jumping out of the front of the ship of Elbaf and dwarfing the giants. Like, I think that's actually a really cool shot because it goes to show just how massive Saturn is once again. Like, standing toe to toe right there on the front of the ship with the other giants, making them look small. And then that tiny little shot of Sanji looking up as well. Wow, man. Wow, 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 wow. I definitely feel like we really are wrapping things up quick. I feel like we are getting out of here now. Which, again, is fine for me. This doesn't feel like it's going too fast because I feel like the last couple chapters were going a little slow. Not that they were bad. I actually did enjoy them. But it felt like the pacing was a little slower and it felt like the chapters were also shorter. Like, how many chapters exactly was this one? Let me look this up. Wow. Man, this was a good one. I enjoyed reading this one a lot. So this chapter was 19 pages. What was the previous one? 119 was what? Oh, it was only 13. Okay, so yeah, so I'm not just imagining things. This was a much beefier, longer chapter then. Man, I do wonder, why they did it like this, though. I wonder why they paced out. Well, I mean, I'm not complaining. This chapter, I feel, is really well paced. But then it makes me wonder about the last few. If maybe they're doing that for the volume numbers or to have another full volume of Egghead. Because the one that just released, let me look this up. One Piece volumes. Man, great chapter, though. For anyone who's coming in right now, really, really good chapter. So the most recent volume that just released with Kuma on the cover that we just saw, that one covers 1001 to 1010. We're on 20 right now. So the past few are kind of like interim chapters in the middle of a volume. So the next one is starting with the Sun Shield chapter. Excuse me, I feel like I'm about to sneeze. Excuse me. The next one starts with the Sun Shield chapter, goes all the way through Pieces of a Continent, Inner Conflict, The Most Free, Emeth, okay, and then now this one. My assumption is then I'm going to make a hard read. I'm going to make a hard read right now. I know I said I'm not one to speculate how much longer we have, but looking at the volumes that we have currently of Egghead and what's already happened, I'm going to make a hard read that the thing that propels us to Elbaf is within the next two chapters. I think that's it. I think that's within the next two chapters. I think we're going to get whatever this resolution is with Saturn and Kuma and Bonnie and Emeth's weapon. I think we're going to get that next chapter, probably whatever Emeth's weapon is. And that the chapter after that is Kuma. And I think that'll be that. Because that'll be, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think 2 more chapters of Egghead. That's my guess. I really do think it's going to be 2. I think it's going to be 2 chapters. I think we're going to wrap up from volume 110. And I think volume 111 will be the first one in which we enter Elbaf. Even if there are interim chapters or things that get revealed on the in-between, I'm going to make the read that volume 111 is our first Elbaf chapter. That is my guess. That feels right to me. That feels right considering everything that we've seen here. That feels right considering all this stuff with Atlas. I'm liking it, man. Great. Once again, really, really good chapter this week. Wow. Well done, Oda. And there's no break. So we're getting right into it. I love this. We're going to get right into this next chapter. Next Sunday, we don't have to wait. Obviously, I'm going to be in Vegas for Evo. So many of you, if you're at Evo, hopefully you'll end up seeing me. I'll be at Evo in Vegas next weekend. I'll be live reacting to this chapter from Las Vegas. I'll have my phone with me. Don't worry about it. I'm hoping and praying, though, that I actually have my full YouTube channel back by then. As many of you saw, as I brought up earlier during the stream, I technically was able to upload my Kid versus Shanks reaction as an upload via a workaround on my phone. I basically uploaded like a 720p version, and then I uploaded the higher res version, and then I basically combined that and put it up online. I was able to do that via my phone yesterday to sort of bypass the upload restriction that I have on the lockout on my main desktop right now. But in doing that, many of you know, if you tuned into the live stream last night for the reaction to Kid versus Shanks, because we ended up showing a lot of the anime and because I had sound going for some of that stream, I actually got a copyright claim on that stream and got DMCA'd on Twitch. So I technically cannot stream on Twitch for the next 24 hours, which is fine. I wasn't going to stream anything else today on Twitch. We have the One Piece chapter. I'm going to go do GoFest. I'm doing other stuff. So that's actually fine. I don't particularly, I feel like it was worth the risk. I feel like it was worth the risk to do it. The problem in doing that was that it also messed up my stream on the live channel, so I couldn't do the horizontal stream. But I feel like, on the whole, really, really good stuff this week. And I'm happy that I was still able to do my reaction. And everyone's obviously here hanging out with me. Man, has your YouTube content come back from vacation? Yes, he has been hard. Shout out again. I'm going to do a video about this once I actually have full access back. Shout out to Jordan and shout out to Andrew over at YouTube. These two goats have been working non-stop, literally non-stop to get my channel back. They have been fighting with the internal teams over at Google and YouTube to make sure that this automated thing never happens again, to go deactivate that old account so we don't run into this problem again. I cannot thank them enough. If I did not have Jordan and Andrew, I don't know what the heck I would do with my channel. I would just be shit out of luck. I wouldn't be able to upload anything. So Jordan and Andrew, Nakama for life. The two of them, Nakama for life. Absolutely, positively love them. Again, I don't know what I would do without them. They have been keeping me in constant contact. They're frustrated the same way that I'm frustrated. So shout out to both of them, man. I do appreciate both of them. Yeah. Totally random, by the way, but I see some people saying on here, are you going to react to Garp versus Kuzan? Of course I am. Of course. The big thing with me and anime reactions for One Piece is if it's a chapter, if the episode is based on a chapter that I know is really good, that I had a hype reaction to, normally I'm going to react to the anime episode for that chapter. So next week, we're technically on break for the anime, right? Isn't the anime on break next week for a holiday, or like it's a filler episode or something, or they're just going to repeat this one? Because the next one, I want to say, is Kobe and Blackbeard. And then after that is the beginning of the stuff with Garp and Kuzan. And then, of course, all the stuff with Sabo and Emu. That's going to be huge. Like the assassination of Cobra, we have to react to that, man. We're going to hear Emu's voice for the first time in just a few weeks in the anime. Like, of course, we have to listen to that. All the stuff with Lily in the Spinning Image chapter, that's going to be, like, amazing. Absolutely amazing. It's going to be so good. I cannot wait. Also, I'm seeing some people asking, did I react to the Solo Leveling Season 2 teaser? No, because I saw it at Anime Expo. And also because it's been weeks now at this point, I'm not going to upload a live reaction. It's worthless. I'm also not going to upload a live reaction to the Notlan stuff that just recently got revealed for Genshin, mostly because I'm really disappointed with it. I feel like Himiko looks really good. This is irrelevant from the One Piece stuff. We'll get back to One Piece, but I just see a lot of requests in the chat, so I wanted to answer them. I think Natlan looks kind of mid right now for Genshin. I am completely uninterested in Natlan at all. I think Himiko looks really cool, and I like that one blonde girl, but I kind of hate the rest of them. I don't really like them. And I also feel like what they're doing with Natlan is just kind of stupid. You have this whole region based on Africa. I don't know. It seems dumb. It seems dumb that they're whitewashing it and they're doing all this other stuff. It seems stupid to me. The whole thing seems dumb. I like Himiko and I like, what's her face? The blonde girl. But other than that, I'm just completely underwhelmed by Genshin right now. I'm waiting for them to do something good. I will say this though, for anyone who's in the chat, I am also supremely excited on the other hand of things for the stuff they revealed in Honkai. Dude, the stuff in Honkai looks 10 out of 10. I watched that IPC trailer before I went to sleep last night. Bruh, looks crazy good. Looks unbelievably good. I cannot wait for that. Yeah, so Honkai right now, stocks are up, Genshin stocks are down right now. That's how I'm feeling. Anyway, let us continue. Let's bring it back to One Piece. People aren't tuning into the One Piece stream to hear about Hoyoverse games, all right? Let's let's get into some of these super chats, some of these questions in the chat, some of the live reactions. Here we go. Let's see. Streamlabs, open up the dashboard. Let us see. What are people saying? Tyler Bird coming through with the membership saying, Roger, I can't stay long, but I just wanted to say, Nakama. Everyone have a great day. Thank you very much, Tyler. Appreciate that. T. Gray came through and said, with the Irish connections in this chapter, I am wondering if Luffy is somehow named after Irish myth. I don't think so. I mean, there was the whole thing with like Joyo Boyo that was talked about years ago. Oh my God. Also, by the way, thank you for the reminder, Aaron. How have they not showed the thumbnail yet? We got to show the thumbnail. I almost skipped the thumbnail reveal. What the heck? Thank you for the reminder, chat. I almost completely skipped that. Thank you for the reminder. Man. Let's see. Open this up in the drive. Oh, I'm seeing his member notes first. The member notes kind of end up spoiling what the thumbnail is, but I'm going to read this out loud. James says, I included a non-bloody version this time around because Roger got scared when I did a bloody thumbnail last time with Boa Hancock. It was a long time ago at this point, but I didn't want to repeat history. Poor Atlas. They really do seem to be pushing Lilith into being the main Vegapunk now. But that's okay, because I love Lilith, and I love Lilith too. You and I were on the same wavelength, James. Absolutely. It's been a busy month for me with Anime Expo, but I'll be at EVO this next weekend at booth H55. Come visit. I still have the secret RogersBase discount, and thank you to everyone who visited and bought stuff at AX. I'm also going to be seeing Roger again soon. LOL. Love, James. I also want to shout out one quick thing. At EVO, I will be doing a meet and greet at James's booth. Just as I did a meet and greet at Anime Expo, we're going to be doing the same thing at EVO as well. We've got the RogersBase discount. He's going to have a lot of cool One Piece related stuff. And I can officially reveal today that James, and Obi's excited for this reveal too. I can officially reveal today that James and I will be at the One Piece Cafe next week, which is supremely excited. As many of you know, they opened an official One Piece Cafe in Las Vegas. I'm going to be attending the cafe and doing a vlog from the cafe next week. So for all of you who are wondering if I was going to visit, the answer is yes. I will be visiting the One Piece Cafe. I will be doing a vlog. I will be doing a lot of cool stuff for the One Piece Cafe. Look forward to that. James will be there with me, and maybe some of the Japan Time guys will be there with me too. Maybe. We're trying to work everything out, but maybe the Japan Time guys will be there too. So, with that being said, let's see what James did for the thumbnail. Here we go. I see. Okay. So, this actually isn't too bad though, James. Let me explain. He mentioned that thing about the bloody version of the thumbnail. I said in the thumbnail with Hancock where she was bleeding, if you remember that thumbnail, it was like Blackbeard holding Boa by her head. But the way it was drawn, it looked like he just was holding Boa's decapitated head, which obviously was not going to be good. This is nowhere near as bad. This is literally just Atlas's final attack. But to be honest, James, as nice as this is, I actually do kind of like the non-bloody version more. I kind of like this version. I actually really, really like this one. Especially because it's like Atlas going out, obviously, with her final attack, but going out happy. This seems more like that service line from her matches more in line with this image. Absolutely beautiful work. Colorization on this one's really good. You can't really tell via the phone camera, but the lighting coming off of the top where it's almost like she's ascending to heaven, really, really nice stuff. Man, great work, James. Beautiful. Mist is also saying, I also agree. I like the non-bloody version. Send Atlas off with a smile. Exactly. Great work again, James. Man, oh man, oh man. Beautiful as always. Now, with that being said, we did the Evo plugs. We talked about the chapter. Let us continue. Diego Abreu donating $4.99 via Super Chat saying, I put some money on the D being dreams, given the themes. But knowing Oda, it'll probably be some character's name with a 40-chapter backstory. At this point, I'm honestly not sure what the D exactly is going to represent. We had the theory on previous streams about the will of the drowned, the will of the dawn, the will of dreams. I mean, there's a lot of different things that the D could be. It could be basically a picture of a rising sun, but to the side, coming upon the dawn, all that kind of stuff. I'm not really sure what it could represent. I'm not against the idea of the D equaling dreams, knowing everything. I will say, though, I was thinking about this a lot since that last SBS and some of Oda's comments that have released recently in the last week and a half since the last chapter. Like, he did some interview where he showed a beta version of One Piece with, like, the original version of Luffy and the guy who's the spirit in the Gum Gum tree. If you haven't looked up Oda's interviews, I would have done a full video on this, but again, can't upload to the YouTube channel right now. But I would have done a video on this when all this happened. Go look up Oda's interview. There's a lot of interesting information potentially about the end of the series in that interview that recently got released, and the SBS recently revealed a lot of cool stuff too. So definitely check that out. But what I was going to say is that in that interview, or one of the little snippets of one of those interviews, he mentioned that when we see a character with an eye patch, that's going to signify the end of the series. The further we get into the story, the more I believe that character with the eye patch is going to be Joy Boy. I actually think Joy Boy is going to be a giant, hence all the ties with the sun god and Nika and everything. I think Joy Boy is going to be a giant who wore the straw hat, who is currently under Marijoa, right, that Emu has in the giant freezer. I think that is going to be Joy Boy, and I think Joy Boy is going to have an eye patch. And I think that is going to signify we're towards the end, boys. Because I thought maybe it would be Rox, but we've seen both of Rox's eyes. So I don't think it's going to end up being Rox. I actually do believe that it's going to end up being, Joy Boy. So that's just my own 2 cents. Yeah. All these people saying the will of the Den Den Mushi, the will of the Dunce, the will of the Don. What is this? And Danny in the chat says, yeah, I also completely agree. I think it's pretty obvious that Joy Boy was a giant, right? I feel like I could be wrong. I don't want to say guaranteed that Joy Boy was a giant. I don't want to say that just yet. Because, people always get mad at me when I said it's a guarantee thing and then something doesn't end up happening. But I do feel very strongly that is going to be the case. Yeah. Also, Ace donated and seems to agree with me and says, I'm calling it right now. I do believe that Egghead is going to end within the next 2 to 3 chapters. I agree. I do. I also fully agree that Egghead's going to end the next 2 to 3. Because again, I feel like that is going to be probably 3 is the maximum amount of length they would include for the next volume, especially with a long chapter like this. Even if it's paired with shorter chapters, I do feel like I agree with you that 3 is the max. That we're going to get Emeth's attack, Kuma's sacrifice, and then we're off to Elbaf. That is my guess. Because everything else that's happening here, I think, can be resolved in the interlude on the way to Elbaf or off camera. Yeah. How does Jupiter even crush the robot with that row of flat teeth? You got to remember, these Gorosei are strong, man. These Gorosei are absolutely, positively brutal. The things we've seen them doing. Also, we didn't talk about this when we were actually reading the chapter, but something that I think is really impressive is literally last chapter with the stuff with Gear 5 Bonnie, they knocked Mars to the other side of the sea. He's already charging his way back. Mars is literally already back at Emeth next to Jupiter, which is kind of crazy that he managed to come back from that so quick. Itsumade is the only one that Team Rocketed out of there. All the other ones are still here. So again, I feel like Emmett's final weapon, with him saying at the end of this chapter, Joy Boy, when you said the time is right, I think this counts, I'm going to use it. That says to me he's going to use one final weapon. I do believe that's going to be the case. Also, Satwick in the chat is saying, the reason why Jupiter's teeth are so strong is because he brushes his teeth regularly. That's exactly what it is. Brush your teeth. Drink milk and brush your teeth. That's right. That's right. What else do you think is going to be in the Lost Chamber in Marijoa, says Mr. Dens in the chat. Does there need to be anything else? I think the giant straw hat is probably enough. We obviously know about the empty throne. We know there's probably some other. I feel still strongly that the road poneglyph, the last one, is either in Elbaf among the remains of Ohara with Saul, or it's in Marijoa. And the more we talk about it, I even talked about it on that one stream where I was sort of predicting and charting the course to the end of One Piece that I talked about before. I do feel like I could see a situation in which the final road poneglyph is actually in the hands of the world government, and that we get it during the final war, and that it's hidden in the chamber alongside the Straw Hat and everything else. And that is where the last road poneglyph is, and why no one has been able to find the One Piece is because it's been held by the world government. Which would then be our reason to go to Laugh Tale after Final War. I think so many of us 5-6 years ago when Dressrosa and Whole Cake was happening, we all, or I guess 5-6 years ago was Whole Cake. It wasn't Dressrosa. We were like late Whole Cake, early Wano 5-6 years ago. Man, I forgot how long Wano was. Holy mackerel. I said it, it came out of my mouth, and then I took a step back and was like, no, wait a minute, that was Wano. 5 years ago was Wano. Oh my God. Wow. Wow. Anyway. Oh, I'm feeling old, man. Where did the time go? Whoa. I just came to grips with my own humanity. Wow. Wow. That was 4 years ago. And Egghead's been long. Egghead's been over a year as well. Man. Anyway, what I was saying was that pre-Wano, I think a lot of people assumed that Final War would come after Laugh Tale, that there would be some revelation. Excuse me, I keep hiccuping. Let me get some water, excuse me. I feel like people assumed pre-Wano that there would be a big revelation when they find the One Piece, when they actually get to Laugh Tale. There'd be some big revelation about the world that would spur on the world to take on the world government into the Final War. That has now kind of happened. That big lore drop revelation happened already. We are witnessing it in real time with Egghead, with the world discovering all this stuff from Vegapunk's message. This is enough to spur the people on and to get everyone excited for the Final War. Which leads me to believe that the road poneglyph would then be in Marijoa, so that one, that would explain why no one's been able to do this for so many years. Two, would allow for that final race between the Yonko to be the final arc at Laugh Tale proper, and for all my dreams to come true. Zoro versus Mihawk, Sanji versus Crocodile, Luffy versus Blackbeard, all that good stuff. Yeah. But that's my guess. To answer that one question in the chat, I do think Final Road Poneglyph is probably the other thing that's hidden in that chamber in Marijoa. Yeah. Zero Arctivist said, when Emeth said, "Joy Boy, so good to see you again," there is a giant eye in the background. Or am I seeing things? Maybe it's just one of the elders. A giant eye in the background. Let me see this. When Emeth said, "Joy Boy, so good to see you again." Oh yeah, that's Jupiter. That's Jupiter. What you're seeing is the light of Jupiter over there. The "Joy Boy, so good to see you again" thing. At least I'm assuming that's Jupiter, right? He's right there. Or, well, hold on. Wait a minute. You're talking about on page 10 and 11. The message made it safely. I didn't hear anything about this giant robot. Is that an Iron Giant? I'm talking to you. That looks like Jupiter's eye. And him sort of charging towards them as Emmett's talking to Luffy. Yeah, because you could see him in the distance in the next shot with Mars. So I think that is Jupiter. Interesting, though. I didn't even notice that when I was reading it the first time, though, because I saw the Joy Boy line and I was just reading it. I didn't even look what was behind the bubbles. Yeah, I think that's just to show the scale of Jupiter and him coming towards them. Yeah. Wow. Good eye, though. Good eye. Alejandro also donated and said, "Do you think that Emu is going to do something at the very end of the next arc?" Oh, excuse me. I read this incorrectly. Do you think Emo will do something at the very end or next arc? I mean, I still think a really great way to end Egghead would be Emu getting the report that the Gorosei have failed and then seeing like a shocked Eneru type face for Emu, and that being our full face reveal for Emu. Like him being shocked that Joy Boy succeeded and that the Egghead incident occurred and that the Gorosei failed. Would be pretty cool. I would kind of love that, actually. Yeah. I think that would be a really cool final shot of Egghead if we were going to get it. But in terms of if he's going to do something, I don't think he's going to make his move until Final War. I think Emu is full on Final War. The question is, what is this incident going to be at the end? This thing that's apparently so big, you know, is it going to be the robot's final attack? Is it going to be Kuma's sacrifice? Is it going to be that the robot's attack somehow manages to kill a couple of the Gorosei? That would be amazing. If we get some of the Gorosei dying during Egghead, and then the only one that's left is Itsumade, only because they punched him, Team Rocketed him off into the distance, and it's just Itsumade and Emu left for in Final War. Woo! Things are going to change in the next couple chapters, man. I'm telling you. This is a good one. Very, very good one. Man, oh man, oh man. Mist is also saying, dude, the Eneru shocked face would be a crazy way to go and a crazy way to show Emu's face for the first time. But wouldn't it be glorious, right? To show Emu and to hear him speak on what happened here and to see like a shocked face type of thing, or looking down at the newspaper or something and you actually see like the shadows come into view and you actually see his full face as he's reading the newspaper. By the way, Roger, just to put things into perspective, Wano started July 2nd, 2018 and Egghead was 2022. Oh my gosh, man. Oh, yeah. We have been in this for a minute, man. Wow. Definitely sticking to my guns that at the end of Egghead, Emu is going to be enraged. Yeah, I completely agree. 110% agree. Pedro is saying, I do think the next couple chapters are going to be interesting simply because the wordplay for 1127 is too good to pass up. The wordplay is Hitsu Tsunagi, which literally equals the One Piece or the Great Treasure. I mean, that would be a really cool way for them to maybe reveal stuff at Elbaf. I feel like by 1127, we'll either be at Elbaf or we'll find out more information about the One Piece or the Will of D, or we have Emu's reaction to everything. 1127 would be an amazing Emu reveal chapter. That also seems kind of in line with everything that's happened here. If we got like 2 or 3 more chapters of Egghead, then going into a couple interim chapters before Elbaf with more information, I think that'd be awesome. I would love that. We just got a super chat, by the way, from Artsy Wolf. Thank you very much. Nakama, saying it's his first super chat, saying, Roger, I actually have a thought about the Will of D. What if the D stands for the damned? Kind of along the lines of what we were talking about with the idea of the D standing for the drowned. And what if it started out as a curse, but that it ended up becoming a will for the clan? I actually think you're kind of right on track. Artsy Wolf. That kind of goes in line with what we were talking about during the last couple streams, that it's the idea of the will of the people who were damned or who drowned or whatever being passed on throughout the generations, turning into the dreams and the new dawn. The D could represent so many other things, but I totally believe that it is something that it's like it started off maybe as a negative thing but turned into a positive thing. Yeah, I think you're right on track. I think you're thinking the right things. I see someone who typed up in the chat earlier too, saying, Roger, do you enjoy reading and watching One Piece? The answer is yes, of course. Of course I love reading and watching One Piece. Of course. That's why I'm here with all of you every Sunday morning, of course. Of course. Let me see some of these other messages in the chat earlier that people were pulling up. Someone saying I missed a super chat. I don't think I did, but I'm scrolling back earlier. I'm seeing a lot of people talking about how Wano was obviously really long. Aaron also said maybe we end up getting the devil fruit reveal or the devil form reveal of Emu and then Emu's form shrinking down to his human form over the course of multiple chapters. I mean, I could see that being the case. Maybe we see his actual devil form that we kind of saw in silhouette during the Sabo chapter and then his actual face at the end of all of it. I could see that. Someone mentioned Kid being the first to see the old civilization, something like that. Oh, because he's the one who sunk to the bottom of the sea? That's kind of mean. Kid's the first one to actually see everything because he's just laying there at the bottom of the sea, drowning. I actually do think, thank you for bringing that up, Rob. I do think it's interesting how they ended the episode last night. That the episode last night did not end with Killer and Kid on the bottom of the sea. It instead ended with them falling into the whirlpool and the narrator mentioning that the Kid pirates were destroyed that day. Which almost makes me wonder if that was a note from Oda and from his team to make it maybe a little more clear that or a little more ambiguous, I should say, about the fate of Kid and Killer. I did think it was interesting that the chapter did not end with that, and that the episode instead ended with Kid and Killer falling into the whirlpool, and then the slash from Shanks. I thought that was kind of neat. Yeah. Didn't we see Jack all the way at the bottom of the sea back during Zoe? Yeah, but there wasn't like a civilization nearby. They were close to Elbaf shore. So I think the assumption is that like Kid may have seen something underneath Elbaf, like a potential old Elbaf or a civilization that was drowned out in the past. Because you know how like we have old Wano, and that's where Pluton is, where Yamato is obviously going to go during the whole cover story. We're going to get the discovery of old Wano, and we're going to get the discovery of Pluton. I think that's probably where the assumption was coming from. That Kid saw something underneath Elbaf that's somehow tied to the ancient kingdom. Yeah. Mackenzie said, I only recently got into One Piece, so I read Wano all at once instead as it was coming out, and I definitely think it affected my thoughts compared to y'all's. Oh, 100%. Yeah, people who read Wano week to week versus people who binged Wano definitely have a different perspective. I think those of us who suffered week to week, I feel we can take a step back and read it in a binge and maybe appreciate it more. And I do want to do that at some point. I do want to do before the end of One Piece, like a binge read of One Piece to actually see if maybe I feel a different way about some of these late game arcs. But I do feel, yeah, that people who are week to week readers of Wano on the whole feel differently from the people who maybe took a break and then read Wano in a binge and then saw Gear 5 and were like, this is so hype, look at all this stuff that happened, the Gold Roger flashback and Oden flashback and Gear 5, this is amazing. But again, the week to week, the pain of Big Mom's amnesia, the Toby Roppo, the Ice Oni, it was a lot of stuff. We suffered for the art. But again, I think in a binge, it's probably quite good. Yeah. And again, I would like to go back to it and read it again in a binge to maybe see if I appreciate it a little more. Again, I don't think there's a bad arc in One Piece. I don't think there's a single bad arc. I just think there are arcs that could have used a little more time to cook, or could have used some extra editing, or could have been chopped down a little bit. But that's it. But I still, to this day, I don't think there's a bad arc. Like, I think Serp Village is a little weak. The original version of Serp Village. I think, I think Wano's a little weak. I think there's a lot of good stuff in Wano, but I think the highs of Wano don't necessarily drown out the lows. But overall, I feel like all the arcs in One Piece are good. That's the beauty of One Piece. Yeah. Long Ring Longland, bro. Don't even get me started on Foxy. I like the Foxy arc. I know people hate the Foxy arc. I like it. Especially if we end up getting a Davy back fight by the end. Man, oh man, oh man. Joker's Fallen One donated, by the way, and said, it's kind of a weird headcanon of mine, but what if Emmet's final weapon could be harnessing its own eternal flame and go nuclear with having a chain reaction with the mother flame on the island that destroys all of Egghead, including York and the Gorosei and the Vice Admirals. Now, see, that's what I'm talking about, Jordan. That's what I'm saying, Jordan. That's what I said earlier during the chapter. Yes, yes, yes. I do think that could be something that would be earth-shattering. If the people that are still there at Egghead, because everyone important that we know has evacuated at this point, right? We already got the evacuation, presumably, of Stussy. We got the evacuation of the good Vegapunks. Lilith is all that's left of those now, but like Edison and the rest of them, they've all sacked themselves. We got the evacuation of the Giants. We got the evacuation of the Straw Hats, of Kuma and Bonnie. I do fully believe that would be something that would be world-shattering. If the Gorosei think that they're going to try to stop the robot, Emmet does one final tactical nuke, blows himself up, blows up the island, takes out the Vice Admirals, takes out the Gorosei, literally full-on declaring war against the world, the Ancient Kingdom. The repercussions are massive. You got the revolutionaries seeing this as their time to strike, especially if Kuma sacks himself to get the rest of them to escape, to get Bonnie and the Giants to escape. If Emmet and Kuma tag team and do something and Egghead blows up, because the citizens of Egghead are out of there already. We know that already. They've been evacuating. We've seen that. So the good people are pretty much out of there. It's just the Vice Admirals and it's the Gorosei and York. So if York dies and the Gorosei die, that's good for us. Yeah, man. The only thing is I don't see a world in which the Gorosei die here is the only thing. Maybe one or two of them, but I think some of them still have to remain to be a threat moving into Final War. The only way I don't see that happening is if we end up getting the pairing of like the Holy Knights, right? If that, the thing I'm thinking about in terms of fights in Final War, like Emu, I think Emu's a guarantee Final War. Holy Knights are a guarantee Final War. Akainu's a guarantee for Final War. The other major admirals are a guarantee. But I mean, that's kind of enough. I don't think you necessarily need the Gorosei if you're dealing with admirals, royal knights, and Emu. That's enough of a threat. Especially because you have to take into consideration the Final War is going to be all-out bloodbath, right? It's not just going to be them against the world government. It's going to be pirates who are going to take this opportunity to seize the moment and take down other pirates and try to, like, you know, make their way forward in the world. It's going to be stuff with the Cross Guild. It's going to be a total free-for-all. Yeah. It's going to be a free-for-all. So I don't necessarily know if we need the Gorosei all there during the Final War, but I also think there could be a really, really cool opportunity for a great shot at the end of Egghead. Say, for example, Kuma sacks himself and sends out the good guys, the giants, and everyone that's there that's evacuating, the Sunny, everybody, the citizens. They all leave Egghead. And imagine Emeth, like, tactical nuking, blowing up, killing York, destroying the island, maybe killing some of the vice admirals, and killing the Gorosei, seemingly. Imagine a shot of the manga. This is just headcanon. This is just an idea, right? But imagine a shot of the manga of the complete blown out Egghead Island, completely decimated, and then rising out of the debris of Egghead Island, you see the skeletons of the Gorosei. Woo! And they're reforming into their regular selves. Would be heat. That would be heat. That would be heat. Especially if they rise out of the ashes and then you see Katarina Devon and Van Augur and the other Blackbeard pirates that are there talking to them, being like, look, we told you this is going to be a problem. Oh, man, that would be heat, dude. That would be amazing. Because then not only would that obviously be the Egghead incident that everyone's talking about, this massive thing that happened that day, but two, also show the power of the Gorosei, and then make us wonder as the reader, like, how the heck are we going to stop them if this wasn't enough to stop them? That would be pretty fire. that would be cool if you see the skeletons of the Gorosei rising out of the rubble of Egghead Island. I think there's actually a pretty good shot for that too. Yeah. But of course, if that doesn't end up happening, that's totally fine. In Oda, I trust for the end of Egghead. I feel like, especially with what we've been getting recently, I feel like however he's going to wrap it up is going to be good. It really would be wild to see if the elders were all just mythical monsters pretending to be people, right? I mean, to be fair, that's kind of been alluded to a little bit. That would also make things super duper desperate, right? Yeah, they would be in their devil form, essentially. Also, I'm wondering, since Roger, Luffy, and Emmet can communicate with each other, just like Momo communicate with Zunisha, who else do you think they can communicate with? I think we're probably going to hear more information about that in Elbaf, is my guess. Lightning says, what do you believe the One Piece is? I think it's a bottle of sake. I think it's a bottle of sake that they're going to open for the world's greatest party. And that it's meant specifically for the sun god, it's meant specifically for Luffy, and it's meant specifically to open at the rise of the new dawn when everybody is free. That's my guess. And they're all going to sing Bink Sake, and the epilogue is the lyrics of Bink Sake, and they'll actually mean something knowing what we know from the series, and it'll be sung by Brook, and Brook is going to be singing it at the graves of the Straw Hats after they've all completed their dream to Laboon, and Brook, showing his age, will no longer have the afro. He'll put the straw hat on from Luffy's grave, and will turn into the literal logo of One Piece. That's the ending of One Piece. Anyway, Hollow Avarice donated and said, Roger, just made it, love this chapter, and the Astro Boy feel of Atlas. I don't know if it's been mentioned yet, but did you see the baby version of Dragon 13 next to Vegapunk on the first page? I love it. Yes, the little silhouette with the little Oni horns. Super duper cute. Super cute. I love that. By the way, you missed my second super chat. Let me pull this up earlier. I'm sorry if I missed it. Oh, saying kid washes up on Elbaf with amnesia. How about that? Oh, don't put that in. Don't put that in the ether, please. Please, I don't want another amnesia. Please, no amnesia plotline, please. Please. No, I don't want kid having amnesia. Agresta said, bro, I really feel like Roger just spoiled the whole thing at the end of One Piece. It's my theory. Obviously, you could hear my whole version of this in that video I did, the charting the end of One Piece thing. I also talked about this a couple years prior. I did like a video on the end of One Piece where I think the final shot is going to be Laboon at the graves of the Straw Hats, having actually adventured with his friends and passing on the story to the rest of the world via Bink Sake. So yeah. But yeah, I didn't say I couldn't help myself. Please no. Please no. No more amnesia. I mean, well, here's the one way I could see that working. Here's the one way I could see that working. The only way I could see that working. Kid has red hair, right? Kid's arch enemy is Shanks. I think it would be kind of funny and poetic given how, what's the right word for this? Headstrong is potentially a good word, but that's not quite the word I'm looking at. But it's like, given how Kid acted throughout the course of Wano and every other time that we've seen him, I do think it'd be funny to have him sort of take a step back and work under Shanks. He already has the red hair. I wonder if maybe Shanks sort of absorbs the Kid pirates and forces them as punishment to be his underlings. Would be kind of crazy. I would kind of love that, to be fair, if Kid sort of allied with Shanks by the ending, having been embarrassed after Elbaf, would be kind of neat. Yeah. I would like that. Hollow also came through with a member message saying, since we're literally in the epilogue right now for My Hero Academia, do you think we're going to get a long epilogue for One Piece? I mean, we've spent so much time with these characters. You know, I actually don't think it'll be a long epilogue. I don't. I think it'll be maybe a chapter or two. I think Oda knows the story he's trying to tell, and I think when he said the story ends when we get to the One Piece, I think he means it. Yeah. I could see an extra long, big final chapter that's an epilogue showing glimpses of everybody's dreams. But I also feel like the majority of the characters in the story will achieve their dreams in real time. Sanji will see in real time whatever the All Blue is, right? You're going to see Zoro beating Mihawk, becoming the world's greatest swordsman. We're going to see Luffy beating Blackbeard, finding the treasure at Laugh Tale, discovering the One Piece, freeing the world. Like, we're going to see all of it. We're going to see Chopper curing the diseases. That's all going to happen in real time. So I don't necessarily think we need like a time jump or an epilogue beyond like a chapter or two. And just seeing glimpses of where everybody ended up. Yeah. But that's my guess. Also, before you leave, Roger, since it seems we have a few people that said that they are new during this chapter, do you want to plug the RogersBase live channel? Yes! So, while I am still locked out of my main YouTube channel, I would highly recommend you guys go subscribe to the RogersBase live channel. It is my second channel where I dump all of my Twitch VODs, where you guys can see all the streams that I've been doing since I have been locked out of my YouTube channel. Definitely go subscribe to that. Go check that out. And go follow my Twitch if you're not following it already. Again, I currently have a DMCA strike over there until tomorrow, but that's not a big deal. I wasn't planning on streaming on Twitch tonight anyway. So go follow the VOD channel. Go follow the Twitch channel. On the off chance, you say, hey, I want you to react to this other thing, or you're going to do like a small Twitch stream, you could get alerts for all my other streams over there. But of course, if you like these One Piece live reactions, make sure you're subscribed right here to the main channel as well, because I do them every Sunday at 8 a.m. And I will be doing it again next Sunday live from beautiful Viva Las Vegas for EVO. I hope to see many of you at EVO. I hope to see you guys at the One Piece Cafe. I'm excited to see James again. Thank you all for tuning in today. This has been an absolutely lovely stream. Thank you to everybody who super chatted, all the new members. Greatly appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe. And until next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Nakama! And I hope you all have a lovely weekend. All right, take care, everybody. Goodbye.